To my YouTube channel. Today is February 6th, 2025. Okay, and we're just 1 month in, and we got to figure this thing out, man. And it's getting good because the current administration is doing so much. It's in a full court press, but we have as the American citizens, we got to make it make sense. And when I say make it make sense, we can't rely on, the mainstream media to explain what's really going on. We can't rely on, other sources and entities that's really, does not have the people's best interests at hand. They're protecting their brand. So when you look at the current administration and the things that they're doing right now, we got to talk about it. Is it good? Is it bad? And we have to identify who's with America and who's against America. Because when I, have the conversations in the community, I look at the backlash in the Black community when individuals of color, more importantly, Black men, decides to be independent, decides to look out for the best interests of their community as well as themselves. They start to, ruffle the feathers of the inhabitants of the Democratic Party. When I say the inhabitants of the Democratic Party, I'm speaking on the Democratic sellouts. Okay. And I got to be totally honest and brutally honest about this, because when you look at your sellout, you can call an individual a sellout, but if you look at the Democratic Party as a whole, the Democratic Party is selling America. And contrary to popular belief, the Republican Party is looking out for America. Because when you talk about, or, look at the headlines and you see what's going on during the Biden-Harris administration and the event that happened on October 7th, that was a situation where the Democratic Party funded Israel. The Democratic Party supported. The Democratic Party gave everything to Israel to destroy, dismantle, and bring down Gaza to rubble. The Democratic Party funded it, and of billions upon billions of dollars, as well as Ukraine. Okay, we don't hear too much about, the war in Russia against Ukraine. Zelensky went on record that the 100 billion that the Biden-Harris administration supposedly have given to Ukraine, Zelensky went on record in conference and said that he did not receive 70 million. He received $30 billion. Okay. And there's 70 billion sitting in limbo. Where did the money go? The Democratic Party is pretty much, dismantling at the hinges. They're trying to, save their positions. They're doing things that, I thought I would never see time, because America is Black men have figured it out. And we've decided to abandon the Democratic Party and align ourselves as non-independents, not American independents. That's a political organization, the American Independent Party. I'm talking about nonpartisan independence, meaning a sovereign group of people outside of the Republican and Democratic Party as a whole. So as individuals, we diligence to be honest. The Democrats say, speak truth to power. We're going to give you the truth, because God's people shall not perish due to the lack of knowledge. And when you fund two wars at the same time, they're funding the war against Ukraine and Russia, funding the war against Israel or Gaza, which is really not a war because nobody's shooting back. But it's crazy that their way that they're responding to the current administration, because America as a corporation as we know it does not even exist. Okay, we pretty much got a new CEO, and he's pretty much trying to, and I'm speaking of the president, he's branding America and using America in that Make America Great Again. This is what he sold to the American people, and the American people overwhelmingly voted for the MAGA movement. You got organizations like America First, Community First, these independent organizations that supported the President Trump. And now we see opportunity. And in the captions, I put in, the Gaza, takeover. And if you look at Gaza right now, there's no way that the Palestinians can rebuild Gaza without some type of financial help. And in the process, if you did not know, USAID is the catalyst or the team that was supposed to build it back. But the Trump administration, hired somebody by the name of Elon Musk, who's one of the richest in the world, and allowed him to pretty much look at the books. Okay. And now that he's looking at the books and, you're cutting the fat here, cut there. And when I say cutting the fat, meaning you see where the frivolous spending is going. You see these things that are unnecessary and how to basically make it make sense. So my job today, we're going to talk about it. And thanks for tuning in. And if it helps the channel, if you hit the like, hit the notification, share, because we got to figure this thing out. Like I said, I'm no supporter of any political party. I'm a supporter of humanity. And by you looking at me right now, you're a black man and you're tuned into A Better Black America TV, which our mission statement is seek solutions and resolutions to create a better Black America, which would be a better world. Because if Black America got its condition together, then the world would be a better. This is why we got to talk about the Democratic Party. This is why we got to shame the Democratic Party, expose them for the true sellouts that they are, and pretty much set the record straight. Now, the guy over President Trump basically came out the other day, and this is pretty much some news right now, and was talking about purchasing Israel, not purchasing Israel, but taking over Gaza. Let me see here if we got some news here. And I don't have a problem with that. I have no, the Democratic Party pretty much made a decision to fund this war. And if you look at the images of Gaza, if you look at what's really going on, they build it back, themselves. And when the president says he wants it to be the Riviera of the Middle East, basically, if America takes over Gaza, then calm that energy and stop wars from rivaling tribes going back and forth. And then they're pretty much, the Democrats got to get out there because they want to raise funds. They have to justify why they have, the positions of power, but it is what it is. But CBS News pretty much came out. Israel welcomes Trump's plan for USA to take over Gaza as allies and adversaries reject it. So why is the Democratic Party rejecting this? Because the Democratic Party is adversaries to America. Let's be honest. The Democratic Party is adversaries to America. Okay? Because anyone in their right mind, you have China in Africa. China is buying up, we're getting China out of the Panama Canal. It's, why is it that when America decides to grow, when America decides to make a change, when America decides to expand, why is it that the enemy from within, and going to talk about that down the road, why is it the enemy from within has a problem? The Democrats had their shot. 8 years of Obama, 4 years of nation. And what did they do? Want to change humanity, want to bankrupt America, and want to have the American people, pretty much struggle. Okay. And this is why we got to really have these conversations today. So in terms of America taking over Gaza, Israel welcomes it. And that's a good thing. But isn't it Democratic Party funded Israel to destroy, dismantle, and to demolition Gaza? So now that we have a new administration, and they pretty much want to build it back better. Okay. Want to basically capitalize off of of what happened. I mean, what's the problem with that? What's the problem with that? Okay. Now, allies and adversaries of the United States reacted with shock and disapproval on yesterday, to President Trump announcing of plans of states taking over the Gaza Strip. And if you're opposed, put it in the comments. But as a American citizen, I think it's a great idea. We paid for the destruction. We paid for, getting rid of, the people there. So why not just go ahead and finish the job and pretty much allow America to capitalize off of its investment already? Now, in the social media early post on Thursdays, Trump said Gaza would be turned over to the United States by Israel at the conclusion of the fighting, after Palestinians had already been resettled in the far safer and more beautiful countryside. Now, this is how can you come back home to this? It has to make sense. So we got to make it make sense. Now, the president suggested that the Palestinian territory that's been dismantled and funded by the Democratic Party to be destroyed and to be genocided. Okay, now land that many people hope will eventually become an independent Palestinian state. Now, by redevelopment in the Middle East and owned by the USA, and with this residents being resettled everywhere else, diplomatic shockwaves. Why are they tripping? Why is that a problem? Now, in search of the solution on Gaza, we must not make the problem worse. Now, the United Nations Secretary, you know how the United Nations does not have the best interest in America at hand. This is an opportunity. I know the president says things that, most people don't understand. This is what makes sense. This is why we get in front of these things and explain it in layman's terms to the people, acting as the publicists of the president, as well as presidential oversight, because investment in Gaza and creating a Riviera in the Middle East is nothing but opportunity for America. Think about that. Think of the contracts. Think of the jobs. Think of building it back better. And that was Joe Biden's political campaign when he ran for president 20. So what's wrong with that? Okay. And then you have Democrats, for some strange reason, they have to get out there that they don't want to do. And this is why I'm moving forward and say in the Democratic Party as a whole is going to be, because it's selling out America. And that's a fact. And it's coming out of the mouth of a black man. Okay, you can call an individual a sellout. That's fine. That's your personal conviction or how you feel. But if you look at the data, the Democratic Party is selling America out and does not have a soul. Now, President brought Netanyahu to the White House, and they had an amazing conversation. And the Israel Prime Minister, he loves the fact that America can actually, pull this off. OK, now he said that President Trump is taking it much higher to a much higher level. He sees a different future for that piece of land, but it has been the focus of much terrorism. So many it's against Israel. So many trials and tribulations have been, a different situation. So why wouldn't you want the America to be your neighbor when you just continue to destroy the Palestinian people and destroy the territory that's ran by Palestinians? Think about that. Just like having a terrible neighbor. Okay, you would love to have a good neighbor, because to back Trump's statement, and I, as a black man, I'm backing this statement as well. Because Palestine, the territory, they need to be relocated, and Gaza need to be rebuilt, okay, by America, because America funded the demise of Gaza. Think of all the billions of dollars that was sent to Israel. And when you talk to anybody that's, in the office, and more importantly, during the campaign trail with Kamala Harris, all they would talk about is what happened on October 7th to justify and to rise the genocide of the Palestinian people and the destroying of their territory. So when President Trump says that, America will take over Gaza and make it the river of the Middle East, that's another win for America. Just like big win with the tariffs. A lot of people thought the terrorists was a bad thing. The mainstream media, the news, and the Democrats, and, they're going crazy. But then all of a sudden, in the final hour, Canada agreed to send 10,000 troops to the northern border to protect America from the illegal immigration, as well as the fentanyl trafficking. And Mexico did the same thing. So let's really understand, it's chess checkers. There's a man in the White House, just like he announced that he will be at the Super Bowl. And that's pretty much an indication to let people know, if you are attending the Super Bowl, it's going to be a safe event because the president of the United States will be there. And this is what you call a man's man. So let's be honest and understand and have these conversations, because the Democratic Party will never be the same. The Democratic Party is the party that's selling out America and is being exposed. And if you didn't know, it's the party of slavery, the party of Jim Crow, the party of the 94 crime bill, the party of the web system, the party that wants to change your son into a girl, the party that wants to do all these strange things, which is so far away from what the framers had in mind and so far away from God. Now, when you really think about it, and they're doing this Doge thing, you got Elon Musk, running, got access to documents and classified information and financial records. This is why a lot of these agencies are shutting down, because they're wasting America's taxpayer dollars. Okay, now USA Agency for International Aid, USAID. Okay, it's pretty much, they're talking about shutting it down. Now, USAID, let me see here. USA staffs will be put on leave starting Friday. They're shutting it down. Okay, these are headlines of today. What is USAID? Why Trump and Musk are pushing to shut down the U.S. and foreign aid. Okay, let me see. Here's another headline. Trump and Musk finds unexpected allies in push to shut down USAID. That's Newsweek, The Guardian. Deaths predicted amid the cost of Elon Musk's shutdown of USAID. Okay, that's The Guardian. AP News. Trump and Musk move to dismantle USAID, igniting battle with Democrats. So why does the Democratic Party has to fight for things that's in opposition or opposing America? This is what the American people, really need to know and understand. This is why we're getting in front of this, and this is why we're having the conversations. So just to give you a little information about USAID, okay, it's the U.S. Agency for International Development. The Agency for International Development. I know I'm not the only one that knows we need inner city development. We need domestic development. Why should we continue to fund an operation for international development? And then in the same conversation, the Democrats will have a problem when the president says we will take over Gaza. USAID is international development. So is that not international development? So these are what you call hypocrites. Think about it. Democratic hypocrites, Democratic sellouts. This is what we're dealing with here in these United States of America. Okay, now the USA Agency for International Development is a principal agency to extend assistance to countries recovering from disaster, trying to escape poverty, and engaging in domestic and democratic reforms. Think about it. Why can't we redirect the funding to the United States of America? And this is the chess move that the sitting president is doing. Because when you sit back and you have, like I would say, the wild that went on here in Los Angeles, and you have these, disaster situations, okay, and then escaping poverty, we have a poverty situation of homelessness and people out. And just breaking news, if you did not know, the Red Cross pretty much are about to evict the individuals that's in the convention center in Pasadena because of funding. So when you have agencies like the USAID, the U.S. Agency for International Development, Wouldn't it be wise to redirect those monies not for international development, but for domestic development? Because the Red Cross shelter is shutting down and pretty much are going to be, they got to the 17th of this month. And the reasoning is funding. So a part, show today or the episode today is, where did the money go? We just had here in Los Angeles concerts, benefit concerts. Okay. And the headlines: FireAid benefit concerts raised over $100 million for the Los Angeles wildfires. Okay. If these benefit concerts raise over 100 million, the Lakers owner Steve Ballmer matched that. So you're talking about over $200 million. Where is the money going? Why is it that the Red Cross is shutting down the shelters? Due to a lack of funding. And it seems like, we're dealing with what we call a money grab, the same thing that happened with the George Floyd riots, and the same thing that happens anytime that we have, some type of catastrophic events. These organizations step in and they see an opportunity to make hundreds of dollars, which what we call wealth redistribution, because the money should be going to the individuals that lost their home. Think about it. You got Democrats mad and upset that the president's administration is shutting down the USAID, which is USA Agency for International Development. But we raised over $100 million in these benefit concerts, and we're shutting down shelters because they are running out of funding. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. So the problem is, as Americans, and under God indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Think about it. If we was on just one sheet of music, you're talking about they raised over $100 million, sirs. The USA Aid for, international development, the principal USA agency to extend assistance to countries recovering from disaster. Why can't we extend assistance domestically to individuals that need it here in America? So this is why America First means a lot to American people, because when dealing with the Democratic Party, they don't put America first. They put their position in front of everything. There's a lot of individuals that's been convicted of crimes and gold bars and doing all types of stuff in a sense of, using their power to gain financial wealth. If you look at the career politicians, these guys, pretty much annual salary is anywhere between $125,000 to $250,000. But you have career congressmen and congresswomen and career senators that are pretty multi-millionaires. So they're just literally fattening their pockets and actually care less about America. But the party's over. And this is why the Trump won by, a landslide. And this is why the Democratic Party is being dismantled as we speak, because when you get rid of agencies, the USAID, United States Agency for International Development, that's a sign that the current administration is looking to, make America great. Okay. When I say, make her, and she has not been her greatest, but I do, let me see here, buy into the MAG, maybe not the MAGA, but make America great. And as individuals, as human beings, we really need to have these conversations and pretty much, follow the money, follow the data and the information. Because when America talks about, the president talks about taking over Gaza and then gutting the United States Agency for International Development, then that means there's going to be opportunities for contractors, for businessmen, for human beings to actually be deployed, and to earn, a good living. But the Democrats want us to basically just control them, just like, we control the ghettos with the welfare. We control humanity. We tell them how to do it. And like I said, the party of slavery can't get out of that concept because, the people are not supposed to bite the hands that feed them. But when we're dealing in America, we're free, allegedly. but we still constitutional amendment that we're seeking because the criminal justice system, the 13th Amendment, we still have a party of enslaved people here in the United States. So when the president talks about taking over Gaza, I got over hundreds of you in the on this stream right now. What's your, do you think that's a good thing? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Is it a good thing for the United States to basically take over? And in the process of taking over Gaza, shutting down the USAID, the United States Agency for International Development. And if you didn't know, I'm going to go ahead and, it takes 3 times to really understand. The U.S. Agency for International Development is the principal U.S. agency to extend assistance to countries recovering from disaster. So they pretty much want to be a part of the rebuilding, and the benefits of redeveloping Gaza. But the president is a business. So the government should not be paying for that. There should be, philanthropists. There should be, individuals. We should invest. I would love to have the Bank of Bushan over there, but I'm serious at the same time, because we as Americans, this country will never be the same. We fell for the biggest con in the history of the world. And it started back in 1964. So this is why the current administration, in terms of along with the conservative movement, are repealing all of these things that's been put into play, because everything was predicated on race at the time. So when they put race, on the back burner and changed the black race into an ethnicity and put it into anything that they wanted to hate, this is why the Trump administration right now is pretty much taking away the policies, these democratic policies Obama put into play in his 8-year terms, as well as what Joe Biden put in place in his last 4 years. Because here in LA, they're withholding, the Children's Hospital are withholding they're halting transgender surgeries for individuals, adolescents under the age of 19. Question is, why are we messing with the children? Why are we messing with the children? And that's something that I understand. We messing with the children. That's a form of child abuse. We should not be bothering the children. And then you have individuals who get favor in the Democratic Party for transgendering. Magic Johnson is one of the, most influential on the planet, but he has a son, who's 6'5", who's pretty much a transgender. Dwayne Wade, when he retired, when he got with Gabrielle Union, they pretty much turned their son out as a child. This child wasn't even 10 years old. And now this boy is standing 6 foot, with razor bumps, looking like a man, confused. And based on what's going on with the Trump administration, away with those pronouns. Your identity has been stripped. You can't use those pronouns no more. And based on the executive order, first day in office, United States only recognize male, female. That's it. Do you have a penis or do you have a vagina? And that's all that matters. Anything outside of that is personal. No one should have to accept how you feel. Because you are who you are, live how you live. Nobody cares, because nobody cares about what the next man's doing. But when you try to force something down an individual's throat and try to make it a law, our framers of this great nation is turning in their graves, because the Democratic Party has literally sold out humanity just for a quick buck. Think about it. Why are we performing transgender surgery on minors? Why are we doing that? And why do we have Democrats going on record fighting for the rights to perform transgender surgery on children? Think about that. Why would anybody in their right mind want to be associated with anything? And you have, religious leaders, preachers, teachers, and my we really got to understand this, because I don't think they know what's really going on. Because the black church overwhelmingly, voted for the Democratic Party. So the black church has sold out to Satan. A lot of times you could just stay out of it. Okay. Just like the coalition that I ran, nonpartisan independents, we wrote in Jesus Christ as president because we didn't want to make a choice between the lesser of the two evils, because evil is evil. So now we're ecstatic because we can actually work with whatever or whoever administration is in power, because the black man has a seat at the table. They call us sellouts for actually showing up. But look at the party that associated with, and it's nothing but the slaves having a problem with the freed Negroes. That's all it is, because these slaves, mental enslavement is a thing as well. But these slaves created with the party of slavery, the party of the Jim Crow South, the party that was blowing up, kids in churches, the party that was water hosing our grandfathers, the party that, pretty much was, put bounties on us, the slave catchers. That's the Democratic Party. And then it grew into a party that wants to turn your son into a girl. Even got bigger than it wants to, take letters from the alphabet to justify a lifestyle that goes against God. Now, no sin is greater than the next sin. So I'm not going to promote fornication or anything like that. But like I said, homosexuals and men sleeping with men, that's a problem. OK, you could do what you do. Nobody has to know. Just do it over there. Do it in the closet. But when you sit back and try to make it a thing, and then there's a political party that tells you we support you, we love you, we want to help you, and they do everything to turn you out. That's the real sellout. That's the sellout party. Anybody in their right mind, black, white, or indifferent, will not be associated with it. And this is why their democracy died on November 5th of 2025, when Trump smashed Kamala Harris in the presidential election, because they were trying to put a woman as the most powerful individual in the world. And that's what DEI is. No disrespect to women at all. You women are beautiful. You guys are smart. You guys could do whatever, but a woman cannot lead the United States. More importantly, a woman cannot lead a man. She could lead herself, but she cannot lead a man, because she does not know what it takes to be a man. She does not know, the mindset. She can't, and if she is leading men, heterosexual men like myself is going to be looking at her figure, her body. We're not going to mention. Okay. But to get back on point, the Democratic Party is the party that's selling out America. I turn on the news. They're having press conferences trying to put legislation in place so that doctors can perform transgender surgery on minors. Think about that. What type of human being does that? Think about that. It's 2025. It's time to tell the truth and shame the devil. What type of human being wants to perform transgender surgery on a 9-year-old? What type of human being would want to support legislation that will abort or kill a baby in the 3rd trimester? The Democratic Party. They asked Kamala Harris right at the on the debates, Kamala, is it 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months? And she said, come on. meaning she had no answer to that, because that's the reaction of the slave. You cannot go against the hand that feeds you. The point that I'm making, you cannot go against the hand that funds your party. There are some foreign nationals and foreign entities that got their hands all over the Democratic Party, and their goal is to destroy America. But America stepped up, and now you have President Trump in office right now, and all they do is look stupid. For an elected official to go on record and basically says that it's a human right that Trump cannot stop, born men from competing in female sports. Let's be honest with ourselves. That's not right. That's not right. Let's be honest with ourselves. Go on record, press conference. President Trump, it's unconstitutional to stop doctors from cutting the penis off of 6-year-olds. Really? So our morals, the United States to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, okay? Indivisible, with liberty and for all. We have to be on the same sheet of music, because it's hard to see these individuals and these entities do this. The sellout party. They sick their slaves on black men who decide to stand up and follow their spirit and do what's right, because we're fighting for the righteousness of our people and our community. Because when you think about it and be honest with yourselves, the U.S. Agency for International Development, they get billions of dollars annually on a budget, and their job as an agency is for international development. We just had some catastrophic events. We had hurricanes. Nobody's talking about that in the South. They still haven't rebuilt from Hurricane Ian, which was 2 years ago. We had these wildfires. So why is it in our best interest to develop internationally? Why is it in our best interest to have an agency for international development? Change that to domestic development, because that's the right thing to do. But the sellout party, the Democratic Party, does not want to fix the problem here in America, because if you fix here in America, then they don't even have a job. Think about that. They don't have a job. They need poverty here in America. They need crime here in America, because crime pays in America. And it's sad to say, and this is a fact, in the Unified School District, they basically pay $14,000 per student in the LA Unified School District. But in the state prison system, $114,000 per inmate. That's crazy. That's their democracy. That's slavery. Think about it. And this is why the Trump administration is dismantling the Department of Education, because the Department of Education pretty much is a failure. We have the lowest ranking school. We have the worst public schools. In communities of color, in urban cities, the school system is pretty much a prison pipeline organization. Think about that. A prison pipeline organization. And if you leave me, do your homework and go watch a documentary called The 13th, okay, by Ava DuVernay. It'll tell you 1 out of every 3 black men in America has been behind bars. Yeah. Not on a state level, but in a, on a municipal level. I'm raising my hand. Okay. Had an infraction get me to take a year and a day. So they wanted to put a felony on me, back in the 90s. Think about that. The 94 crime bill. Who wrote that? Joe Biden. Who sold it to people? Hillary Clinton. These are not ordinary humans. They're super predators and they need to be brought to heel. Hillary Clinton said that about a man. Think about that. The party of slavery. And individuals that support the Democratic Party, they don't even know that they're sellouts. As a single woman with a son, who you want to be with the party that's going to sell son out to be a girl. That's crazy. That's the Democratic Party. And contrary to, it's the atmosphere. Okay, we are products of environment. Homosexuals are not born. Okay, they're created. We're products of our environment. And to expound on that fact, if you take a boy, okay, and raise him with aggressive alpha males, or men of standard and values, then you're going to get an upstanding individual. And this is why the Democratic Party, put out a mandate to pretty much get the father of the house to make sure that he's raised by his mother so he can raise him to be like her. Let's be honest with ourselves. And it goes back to the science of Willie Lynch when Joe Biden said on the count, follow the science. That's the science that he's talking about. OK, because a woman will raise her children in reverse roles, not knowing what she's doing. But when you have a father there raising his son, he's going to teach him how to be a young man. He's going to teach him to be an upstanding individual. And that individual is going to grow up and be a benefit to society and not a liability in which they expect to be. So we got to have these conversations. And to build on my theorem of homosexuals, it's a fact that we are products of our environment. You train a child on how they should grow. And when they grow older, they won't go far from it. But if you are not cognitive or conscious about raising your son to be a man, and you just let him do what he wants to do, let him play with his sister's dolls. In the case of Dwayne Wade with his son, wear the girl's panties and not check them on that and not stop them from doing that. They don't know what's right. They pretty much do what they see. Dwayne Wade said he had sisters and he would do what his sisters do. So this is why he wears lip gloss. This is why he, acts the way that he, this is why he and Gabrielle Union sold out their son to be accepted by the sellout party. And it's sad that these individuals since the Obama administration, they were pretty much, on their way. But then all of a sudden, you can't even be that no more. Imagine if they say, oh, you can't be black no more. Because being black in a race has nothing to do with your sexual orientation, has nothing to do with your lifestyle, has nothing to do with your ethnicity. This is why when I've been in these think tanks with these white females, these Karens, it's discriminating against women, and you understand because you're black. No. It's not the same. It's not the same. We watch it do what it do. OK. And right now, the mandates are that they are arresting criminals. OK. But then you have arresting the Latinos, the illegal immigrants, they're protesting and doing all types of things and not understanding that they fell for the okie doke, because they'll sit back and say, well, the blacks and the brown. No. We are a race of people who built this nation on free labor. And you guys are in the way of our blessing. OK, so this is a ethnic cleansing going on here in the United States, an ethnic cleansing on in Gaza, because the Palestinians should never be allowed to create what they have created over the last 100 years, because why would you want your neighbor to be your enemy? Now that this ethnic cleansing is going on and this repeal and replacing of all the mandates that the sellout party, the Democratic Party, the sellouts have put into fruition, transgenderism, LBGTQ, AI, and all of these things that created after the Constitution was written, these things that they created over the last 20 years. And they saw a pipe dream. And this is why you are so upset. This is why black women are so upset, sitting back saying, oh, I'm just going to sit out, I'm going to protest, and we're not. No. Just sit back and do you. Because protesting does not change nothing. All protesting do is from the pockets of the individuals that putting on the operations. I'm here in LA, and I'm seeing the high school students that live downtown walking around with in the United States waving Mexican flags. That's the strangest thing. Okay, where's the American flag? Okay, where did you get the flag from? Who organized this event? Just like, where did the money go with the Farm Aid? Raised over $100 million in benefit concerts. Where's the money? Somebody benefited from that. So now we're living in a time where we got to we got to tell the truth and shame the devil. Okay. As a nonpartisan independent, as an individual who ancestors pretty much aided and abetted of this country, we're not going to sit back and allow the party of slavery, the party of the transgenders, the parties that want to abort babies in the third trimester, pretty much get a lifeline from us anymore. Because when you have an individual like Snoop, do a concert literally at the victory party for the Republicans and get paid to do so, and have conversations back in the back door to pretty much right the wrongs of the past and create the equities in the communities of color, which it will trickle down to us. And then you have individuals like D.L. Hughley, the Black Americans talking about, the backlash and all of this. Why is there any backlash of black men following their spirit? The only individuals that got a problem with the black man growing, with the black man being a nonpartisan independent, with the black man smiling, the broke, busted, and disgusted slaves that's the fabric of the Democratic Party. This president took your identity, took your pronoun. You're not even who you was, because you was a creation, not by the creator, but you are a creation. Your lifestyle was created to benefit the Democratic Party. And if you look at, rap music, grateful and happy that Kendrick won, the 5 Grammys. But when you look at the other opportunities that's out there, you got ultra over sexualizing content when it comes to the rap lyrics. You got individuals talking about the gunplay, the prison culture, and things like that, not knowing that the individuals that own the record labels invest in the prisons. Think about it. This is why God's people are not perish due to lack of knowledge. For anybody that wants to grow, anybody that wants to be happy, and happiness comes with peace, and peace comes from within. This is our moment in history to step up, follow our spirit, and do what's right for our people, and stand our ground. Because I don't have a problem with the Children's Hospital and halting transgender search for adolescents under the age of 19. I don't have a problem with that, because in my mind, that should not even exist. It shouldn't exist. It's crazy, because individuals that want to move so far away from God, individuals in political parties, the Democratic Party, that pretty much wants to destroy America because they're anti-American and they're anti-God. And it goes back, it's biblical. It's the scribes and the Pharisees. At least the Pharisees acknowledge that there's a God. You could say whatever you want to say about Trump, but who in their right mind could have a problem with him signing an executive order to basically just recognize male and female? Think about that. It shouldn't have never changed. Okay. And I've read that Project 25, 3 different times. I looked at the talking points and a large volume of Project 2025 is good for America. It's bad for the Democratic Party because it's pretty much, repealing and replacing and destroying what they created over the Obama era during the Harris-Biden administration. Obama was the first president to, do the rainbow. Okay. And they're saying that, Gay Pride Month is canceled. It shouldn't have never been a Gay Pride Month. If you're going to be gay or homosexual, because gay means happy. So I'm going to just set the record straight. If you're going to be a homosexual, if you're a male and you want to do what you do, probably one of the number one deadliest sin. Live your life. Nothing to celebrate and have a party about. Just go do what you do. Black History Month, is a month where it's literally canceled, but in terms of our Black history, it's on us to have the conversations and to talk about it and to share the knowledge and that information. Okay. We're not having a Black History Parade. Now we're celebrating King here in LA this month because of the fires pretty much halted the Kingdom Day weekends here in LA. But we're celebrating an individual that the Democratic Party literally assassinated and memorialized it so we can actually, think we got something special. But that's, where's the other Dr. Kings? Oh, this is why they'll do third term abortions, because we didn't kill Dr. Kings and Malcolm X, in the form of abortion. Because if you did not know, blacks get the most abortions. They use abortion as birth control. So the answer to that, forget the woman's right to choose, just don't get pregnant. How about that? I'm not saying don't do what you want to do, but use contraceptive. Okay. And then if you do get pregnant, why don't you take care of that in the first trimester? Because like I said, only a fool with no common sense, will basically, if, the life of the mother, rape or incest, those are exceptions. Okay. But to sit back and to have a baby shower, have a gender reveal, and to be legal for a doctor to go and kill that unbirthed baby that's murder and is illegal. And you'll have individuals, elected officials from the Democratic Party supporting that. And it's the craziest thing that I ever heard. Okay. You got people, campaigning to abort babies the third trimester with no guards. You have individuals doing press conferences right now because they want children to pretty much be changed and they want the transgender surgeries. They're going on record talking about, and I'm talking about the sellout party, that the situation in Gaza is ethnic cleansing when every Democrat in office supported legislation and funding U.S. Agency for International Development to give Israel to pretty much genocide Palestinians and literally destroy the city of Gaza. They saying it's ethnic cleansing. So what's the difference between ethnic cleansing and genocide? Every Democrat, black, white, different, supported legislation and funded Israel to pretty much genocide the Palestinians and to destroy Gaza. And these Democrats, these same Democrats, these hypocrites got a problem with the sitting president that said, the United States is going to take over Gaza. So these Democrats, now they flip the script and now they oppose the building and the rebranding of a Middle Eastern city that has been costing America billions of dollars. This is the craziest thing ever. And then you have agencies like the U.S. Agency for International Development. And I'm going to go ahead and just let you know exactly what it is. The U.S. Agency for International Development USAID is the principal U.S. agency to extend assistance to countries recovering from disaster, trying to escape poverty, and engaging in democratic reforms. So the American citizens trying to escape poverty right here. So why can't we take care of home first? Why can't we put American first? Why is it that elected officials on the Democratic side focus is international and not domestic? Now, when you guys get elected, you don't go and get elected by, foreigners. You get elected by the American citizens. So this is why they come into the cities and get elected and lie. Okay. And then nothing happens and nothing changed. So we got to put America first. So we got to put the party of slavery on blast. We got to put the party of Jim Crow on blast. We got the party of mass incarceration on blast. We got to put the party that wants to perform transgender surgeries on children on blast. We got to stand up and be true red-blooded American citizens, because what's going on is all they're doing is removing all of the barriers and strongholds that's been keeping us uniting as one, because they want to keep the black race down at the bottom. As long as the black race is at the bottom, they win, because the black race is their good economic. If you lose the fabric of black America, you have no Democratic Party, because you got church leaders, men of God, who preach every Sunday, who reads the Bible, who are ordained and took an oath to preach and teach the word of God. Somehow you've convinced them to support a party that is anti-God. That is crazy. And just like Eve got caught up with Adam and the serpent, and she pointed at the serpent when God asked her, "What have you done?" He deceived me. You have been deceived. And it's time for you to repent. Seriously. Because the church, men of God, the baby booming generation somehow has associated with the Democratic Party, thinking that it's something good. It ain't nothing but it's demonic. And then when you look at our fraternal orders, the Divine Nine, all of that, same. So why isn't it a black fraternal order where we as blacks come together, but they'll take a Delta, from a sorority who was raised in rural Alabama, did not have running water in the house, but they'll put in a position of power, and then she'll go ahead and fight for the party that has enslaved her race, had her being a sharecropper, great-great-grandmother and great-great-grandfathers being slaves. And now that you with that party and you want to say that the black man is selling out because he don't want to support the party that wants to change boys into girls, that want to perform transgender surgeries on young men, on children, the craziest thing ever. And then if you look at Hollywood, look at Will Smith, look at their children. Okay. I would hate to be sitting behind Jada Smith. He's sitting there with a charcoal house on his head. I would hate to be sitting there. That was crazy. Look at Magic Johnson's son and look at the benefits Magic get. Look at Dwayne Wade's son. Look at the opportunities that he gets. Think about it. And then your radio, your D.L. Hughley's, Steve Harvey's, they're with that side because they get benefits from it. You got Roland Martin fight for the party, and it's all about the dollar. So these are the real sellouts, the Democratic sellouts, because they're selling. They have sold their souls for personal gain. They have sold their souls to pretty much be anti-American. Because like I said, if we come together as a people, the world would be a much better place. Okay. Because like I said, all these scams that's going on. And I stand to be corrected. Okay. With the scams and all of that, because we just want answers. because the Pasadena Red Cross shelter is shutting down. They got to the 17th to figure it out. We just had a benefit concerts that raised over more than $100 million. Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, pretty much mashed it. So where's the money going? So you got a sum of $200 million. Give this aid to individuals to rebuild their homes. And if you look at the homes that was affected in Palisades, you're talking about the median home value is like $3.5 million. And then if you go to the Altadena side and the Pasadena, the median home value is $1.8 million. Those little small homes that you're talking about $800,000. And then if you sign up for some help, FEMA disappeared. They ran out of funds fast. It was only giving $50,000. It's not going to rebuild anything. That's barely going to, clean out your lot. The Biden administration stepped up and gave, a one-time payment, which is stimulus. Trump gave more during the pandemic than Biden gave on a disaster of epic proportions. We wasn't displaced. Our homes didn't burn up, and got checks from Trump. The Biden administration pretty much gave $770 one time to the individuals affected. And depending on the size of your family, that only lasted, a couple days, 1, 2, 3 nights at a hotel, maybe 4 nights at a motel. That's not right. And the only way that these things could continue if we be divided as human beings, if we be divided as people. This is why we got to come together. This is why we cannot have a duopoly. This is why one of the parties got to go. And right now, the Democratic Party, it's a wrap. Once you lost the black man, because the black man, regardless of the volume of the votes, it was the no shows. 15 million registered Democrats did not support the party. And the black man is your good economic. The black man is your good economic. The Democratic Party been eating off the black man since its existence. It's not the female. The female is pretty a pawn, okay, because the female is connected to the black man, and her job is to convince the black man to support what she got going on. But in the garden, Adam's biggest mistake that he's hearkened unto Eve and not unto God. So now that we are sacrificing Eve, go with the serpent. Go with your transgenders, go with your homosexuals, LBGTQ, elemental P. We go on with God. And if you want to get right with us, you come on over here, because there's more women out there than you. OK, and the one thing the black man has to fight for is peace, because if you don't have peace, you're going to die early. Irv Gotti, dead, 54 years old, did not have peace. I know a whole bunch of men with wives and children, okay, and they did not choose their peace. They chose to happy wife, happy life. They chose to serve that woman, and now they're dead, okay? And one thing that I do know that a woman respect is a independent that can cover her and take care of her. That's the position that the man needs to be in. But when you are a supportive role and you wearing the panties in the relationship, you're going to die. OK, because peace is love. Peace is longevity. Stress will kill you. It will. So regardless of what they say and how they feel, match your peace and find your happy. And our peace and our happy is not in no political party. And more importantly, it's not in the Democratic Party, because they want a man to be feeble-minded, to be weak, to be following behind some woman, and to raise his son to be a girl, to perform transgender, operations at 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. They want to lie to us and tell us that you're born this way. That's a lie. If you are born with a penis, you are a boy. If you are born with a vagina, you are a female, and it's on the parent to raise the child correctly. Because you could take and raise him as a girl, and once he gets 6, 7 years old, he's going to think he's a girl. And it's the parents' fault. And the parents need to accept that and understand it. This is why gay men or homosexual men do not share their stories. Okay. They do not share their stories. They do not share their first experiences of being stimulated. They do not share, or tell us violated them or who taught them to be pleasured through their anus. They don't tell us these stories. But men, over our lifetimes, we have conversations of, the first woman we smacked, the first time we kissed a woman, the first time we saw a woman and, her breast and she had hair on her vagina and all that. We share our stories, but the homosexual doesn't share those stories. And this is why the homosexual is so dangerous to society, because those secrets and pain that's in their mental, they'll be willing to do and say whatever just to be liked, just to be respected. This is why they get out there with a rainbow wig on, with a beard, lipstick and eyeliner, tell me respect my pronoun. But President Trump destroyed your identity. You don't even exist anymore. I was in line the other day at the grocery store, and there was a dude in there as tall as I am with a wig on and a gangbanger. Hey, man, take that wig off. Trump in office. We started laughing. He laughed too, but he made that man take his wig off. And I'm sitting back saying, why that? Okay. Because we got to fight to be here hundreds of years from now. Our ancestors did whatever they needed to do to survive, to get it. And any black human being that you see is a success story. And we're blowing the opportunity to be righteous because we're being trained wrong. We're being taught wrong. So now is the moment in time for us to fix it. And the only thing that I can only offer you is God. Repent, because heaven is at hand. Okay. Start from there. It's internal. Gil Scott-Heron had a great poem in a song called The Revolution Televised. And I really figured it out and understand what he meant by that, because the revolution starts in your brain. You can't televise your thoughts. You can't televise your emotions. You can't televise what you're going through in your mental. So the revolution starts in your mind, and what's in your mind, you could bring it into fruition. And this is why the mind controls everything, because our mouth speaks power. We can speak life or death. We got life. So we really got to understand what's going on. And this is the day of reckoning moving forward. We got 4 years to figure this thing out. We can and we will. OK, because like I said, there's a great power out there that we all got in common. We all know, whether you're an atheist or whatever, that there's, something, there's an entity where, that's in control, and all things have purpose. Right now, our purpose is to be living in these days and this time right now for us to do what's right. And we watching unrighteousness dismantle, and we watching the Democratic sellouts try to protect the unrighteousness, because anybody in their right mind, it should not have had to be an executive order for the president of the United States to just declare male and female. That should have never had to be a conversation. Your birth certificate, when you come out, and if you got a penis, he's a boy, if you got a vagina, oh, that's a girl. That's where it should have been. But somehow their democracy is demonic. Democracy, demo, the root word demo, not the entire word. The root word demo means demon, diablo, or devil. That's what demo is. Okay. The prefix D is negative, deactivate, descend, demote, demolish, demolition. Think about it. Nothing positive. So now that we're smart enough to understand the phenomenon of social media, the phenomenon of the internet is the reason why it's over. Because Willie Lynch said himself back in 1713, we could do this for hundreds, if not thousands of years, unless a phenomenon happens. And the phenomenon is the internet. The phenomenon is social media. We got to go to social media to get the facts. We got to go to social media to get the news. because the news outlet literally, promoting the script for the best interest of the owner of the station. So now that we're living this phenomenon era, we're going to have to stand up. And God want to know who we are. Okay. Are we supportive of dismantling our children? Are we supportive of cutting young boys' penises off because he was groomed to be a girl? Are we supporting a party of slavery? The Democratic Party is a party of slavery. That's a debate that you can't even have. And anybody that will debate that is ignorant. And this is why the homosexual male, and more importantly, the homosexual black male, is dangerous to society, because they will just fight and disrupt just because they don't want to deal with the truth. They don't want to look at them and say, and tell us who violated them or who taught them how to be homosexual, who performed, oral sex with them when they was a child, who molested them, who turned them to be that way. They don't want to have these conversations. So they grow up to be hurt people, and hurt people hurt people. That's why Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. That man was hurt after he busted up laughing. And how, the succubus, his wife, got him to, the story. And then think about it. There's home allegations with Will Smith that he never addressed. He never debunked. So you could just imagine the people in power of what they have to go through to get to where they are. And this is what they call these rituals. And this is what they do. Just like in the book of Matthew, the devil told Jesus, I give you everything if you follow me. He said, man, you can't tempt our God. So literally, you could not tempt him. So we cannot be tempted. Lead us not into temptation and deliver us from the evil one. So we need to be delivered from the evil one. And then in this conversation and this discussion and this talk, the evil one is the Democratic Party, the party of slavery, the party of homosexuals, the party of the transgenders, the party of prison. Think about it. So we got to separate ourselves from the evil one. And I'm not saying join the MAGA movement, but I'm saying understand what's really going on, because it's in our best interest to carve out a slice of that pie and get that equity that we so shall deserve. Dr. King said it best. America has defaulted on its promissory note. And the reason we can't have these conversations is because you got the LGBTQ movement in Trump getting them out the way. Okay. You got these transgender organizations in the way, Trump getting them out the way. So now we need to sit back, let them do what they need to do. Let them get rid of the Department of Education, which should be dismantled, because we have the worst public school systems. Okay. The worst scores, all of that. Okay. And then this USA agency, USAID, dismantle that, because we need to use our funding domestically. Why are we trying to extend assistance to countries recovering from disaster, trying to escape poverty and engaging in domestic reforms? We're recovering from a disaster. Why can't we use that funding? Why can't we be site specific and try to adhere to the Constitution? Because the Constitution, if you did not know, it says domestic tranquility. There should not be a hungry person in the United States. It should not be. But the only reason it is because of the two-party system. The Democratic Party wants liabilities. They want, this is why they wanted open borders. Okay, because they want people to come in need so they can just give rations and handouts. This nation is a great nation, and I applaud the Trump administration. And this is why I do what I do. Okay, and basically making it make sense. And this is why I will be sending an invoice to the Trump administration, because nobody's having these conversations. Look at the news. Oh, the United States is halting funding for the USAID program. Okay, let's find out why. because the United States should not be assisting other countries in recovering from and trying to escape poverty when we have a poverty situation right here, right now. Think about that. And then the news will sit back and say, oh, there's a tariff war. We higher prices and all of this and all of that. Come to find out, Trump used the tariffs as a leverage to get Mexico to stop the influx of, on their side of the border, of illegal immigration and stop the fentanyl into the United States, killing American people. And the Prime Minister of Canada as well. So that's what you call a win-win. Big win. Okay. And I'm happy about that because finally America could be who she is. And now that Israel soon got in office, soon as Trump got in office, oh, there's a peace treaty signed because Trump told him, if I get in office and you guys are still in a war, it's going to be a problem. So that's power. So they said peace treaty the day before the inauguration. And now that Gaza is destroyed to rubble, America wants to take advantage of that, take over Gaza and send in the United States Army and the Marines, Air Force, whatever, to pretty much go out there and detonate those, the lines and, clear up the rubble and build it back so it could be the Riviera of the Middle East. Who has a problem with that? China is controlling Panama Canal, in which they got to get up out of there. Think about that. China is all in Africa. So what American citizen would have a problem with us reestablishing, a safe haven in the Middle East and benefiting from it? What American citizen would have a problem with that? See, a Democrat will, because slaves do what they're told, because elected officials got to be anti-Trump, anti-American to continue to get funding from funders. Just like Harris said, her hands are tied. Okay. There's voters and there's check writers. So the check writers' best interest, they get them out there and got these politicians out there right now, fighting for the rights to give children puberty blockers, fighting for the right to pretty much perform transgender operations on minors. You got human beings that's heterosexual, got wives and children, having press conferences and fighting for that to happen. And they're doing as they're told to. It is what it is. It is what it is. Said the Trump administration is going to get an invoice because we got to make it make sense. And I'm literally acting as his black publicist. And, hit the like, hit the subscription, hit the notification, because we're going to take a deep dive in real conversations and we're going to make it make sense. Because when I looked and I sit back and when Trump said, we want to take over Gaza, I was like, wow, that's actually a great idea. OK, when he says that he wants to dismantle the Department of Education. Well, we need to because our public school system sucks. And everybody knows that. And in urban cities of color, black communities is what you call a pipeline to prison operation, because we all know early childhood development will basically, stop, the prison system down the road. And this is why we're going to be seeking a constitutional amendment. And if y'all let Trump sign a constitutional amendment or an executive order, the declaration clause off the Constitution, he's going to be greater than Abraham Lincoln and George Washington put together. He's going to have dollar bills. He's going to have money. He's going to have coins. The Democratic Party is the party that wants to keep this slavery going. Here in the state of California, to prove that fact, Proposition 6 was on the ballot. The California voters voted no against Proposition 6 because they wanted to preserve involuntary servitude. Been reparations coalitions going on. They wanted to put it on Gavin Newsom's desk. He pretty much told the California legislature, do not put this bill on my desk because I'm going to veto it. So they pretty much look bad. And all he did was a study. Think about it. So it is what it is. And we got to get it right. It is what it is. So we as a nation, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is our moment in history. OK, because they should not be performing, you know, transgender surgeries. Okay. And let me see here. This was 2 days ago. California clinics lose transgender health grants after Trump. Good. You should not get any grants to make transgenders. You shouldn't. USAID, which is the Agency for International Development, is the principal U.S. agency to extend assistance to countries recovering from disaster. You know, we need here. Not a problem with that. Dismantle it. Get rid of it. And I like the fact that we're, you know, as we're the repealing and the replacing of things that's been implemented by the Obama administration, that's been implemented by the Biden-Harris administration. Because how are we going to get it? How are we going to get to the next level? You know, we need to, you know, mirror, and we need to get back to that American promise. Okay. We need to get back to, you know, the basics. Okay. This is the greatest in the world. And we all should be, you know, happy and flabbergasted that we get an opportunity to do it. But when you got the Democratic Party, you know, you got religious leaders and preachers and men of God supporting a party, you know, that promotes homosexuals, that promotes a party, change a boy into a girl in terms of their transgender, supports a party who takes the alphabets, LBGTQ, And like I said, I could care less about the organizations or what people do themselves. But when you make it political, that's when it's a problem. Okay, that's when it's a problem. And anybody associated with the Democratic Party is a sellout, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And I'm going to say this again. Any individual that supports the Democratic Party, you are a sellout. Be ashamed of yourself. And that's coming out of a mouth of a black man. It is what it is. So with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all. Hit that like, hit that notification, hit that subscription. You know, we almost finished with the studio. It's going to be proud. The channel's monetized, and we're going to just take this thing up to a whole nother level. I talk entertainment, sports, politics, and money, but today I had to pretty much set the record straight because the Trump administration is pretty much doing a great job right now. And if you did not know, his approval rating is the highest that it's ever been. And with that being said, y'all have a great day. This is your man, Bouchon Glover, signing out at Better Black America TV on YouTube. Peace out.